but he is wearing the joker for the All-Stars team. Now, he's the Oceania champion in the 50 and 100 metres breaststroke.
Oops, one race ahead there, Mark. We have got Bryn Monda in lane 4 of Aquanites, Jack Callagher in lane 5. Down here in lane 4, it's Callagher, Brendan de Greve of All-Star. And up the top there, Tame Gavertz. Looking good.
Yeah, he is looking good as he just rolls through to the finish.
Tamay, I must say, Tamay Gavertz. And he's out. That's a very good win. Well, he's a 15-year-old from Marcos, from the Zenith Club. So just have a look at those as we look at their faces. But the points through the previous event, that's just the zones, not the individuals. That's the zones they represented. As we see that, a Winter Marcos, which will be handy because they are 20, 30, 50 points behind All-Stars in 4th place at the moment. So Harlequins 381, Aquanites 343, All-Stars 327, and Marcos 278. But we're only 1 hour into it. We've got plenty to go. So now we should see Benjamin Walsh wearing the lime green cap. Walsh from All-Stars in lane 4.
Yeah, this young man has really improved his swimming. Oceania champion in the 50 and the 100 metres breaststroke. I just like the way he keeps very flat, very streamlined, very fast recovery into the front.
So he's from the Pororua City Aquatics and under his coach Neville Sutton.
Yeah, Neville's doing a really good job with him, keeps him really sound, and he has a lot of respect for Neville, which is fantastic to see, and he turns just outside first position. In fact, it is George Schroeder over in lane number 7 from the Marcos doing a great job, but there's nothing separating. They've always had big battles, these two.
Well, it's a huge responsibility when you're given the Joker's cap. While we talk about it's nothing to do with individual performances, it really is about individual achievement. And Ben Walsh is not going to win this. It's going to be George Schroeder of Marcos. That's a big win for Schroeder. Touching out the man with the bright green cap, Ben Walsh. And maybe Jacob Garrod, was it in 3rd place? Yes. Great.
That was a tremendous swim, wasn't it? That's a pretty fast time, 1:03.46 as well for George Schroeder at this time of the season. And he looked strong, he looked good, the rhythm was all there. Breaststroke's all about rhythm.
Well, and consider he's from Hokitika. We say that there's swimmers from various zones and we talk about their provinces or cities, but you know, there's the South Island is West Coast, Canterbury West Coast, which includes, of course, Hokitika, and that's where Schroeder comes from. And at 19 years of age, he went to the Junior Pan Pac Championships last year.
Well, that's 2 Marco victories in a row as well.
Okay, the man wearing the green cap is now hanging on to it, finishing in 2nd place in that race. Ben Walsh, he's within.
Well, Ben, the manager, gave you the responsibility. The Joker's hat out there. George pushed all the way to 2nd place, but has it had the responsibility wearing the lime green hat?
Oh, it's amazing, you know, to have to wear this, you know, getting that double points. I didn't win, which, I mean, it's fine. It wasn't after the place so much, it was after the time. And I'm pretty happy with that time, and it went well, I thought.
Tell us from a swimmer's point of view, an individual sport normally, but this is a team concept.
I quite enjoy this. I'm not feeling the pressure as much. You know, it's about the team rather than me. And I'm enjoying it, and, you know, all that support that my team's giving me and I'm giving them is really good.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Well, Ben Walsh talking about the responsibility, but also, I think, reinforcing the enjoyment that the swimmers are getting out of the zonal meet. Women's 15 and under, we're into the 200 butterfly now. 14 and 15-year-old. And you see there in lane 3, pink cap, and that's on Yonsu Lee, who we saw earlier in the relays from Harlequins. She's swimming out of lane 3, and she loves the butterfly. So her team has said, let's go for it, Yonsu, you take the cap and get us double points if you can.
Yeah, of course, the coaches and the managers, they have to do a lot of homework. They'll be looking at all the other teams and they're going, Yonsu Lee, we know that you're a 2:19, 200 butterflyer and you're a little bit faster than the others out there. So we want you to go out there and we're going to give you the joker and we want you to win and get double points. But she's not going to turn first because it is Kyra Forrest from the Marcos. Marcos are just going for it.
Well, this is what they did last in the first inaugural Zonal Championships. And up there, it's Kyra Forrest, 14-year-old.
Well, don't you love it too? Only 14 years of age. She's got nothing to lose. She just doesn't feel inhibited whatsoever. And probably the fact that she's swimming for a team, she'll just get rid of any nerves that she may have. And she's doing a great job. But it is Yonsu Lee now starting to dominate as she rolls through that second 50 through the 100-meter mark in a 105.8. It's a pretty fast split. So 2:19 is her personal best. 105 is a good split over the first 100 meters. And she looks nice, keeping the hips rolling. That's the important thing. So if the hips are coming up and down, that means that your leg drive at the back is doing all the job, all the work. Notice she's breathing every stroke, something we don't always encourage unless they have particularly good rhythm. Now, as she's breathing every stroke, you'll notice that her head stays up a little bit more and more as she goes through this event, as she starts to fatigue. Now, we want them to breathe every second generally so that they get their head down and keep the momentum going forward. But she has a very good lead here, Yonsu Lee in lane number 3.
Elena Forlong of All-Star, Caitlin Tippett, they touched next. Kyra Forrest of Marcos from the Whanganui Club in Christchurch. She finished, she touched in 4th place, but it's all a very cunning plan from Harlequins, playing their joker with this outstanding young butterfly swimmer, Yonsu Lee, 52 points.
Well, John, more importantly, and we don't talk times very much, but that is a fantastic time, 2:15.1. You know, 105 through the first 100, 110 through the second. But, you know, as much as we don't like to talk times per se, that is an outstanding time.
She looks across at the other swimmer, Ella Drinnan from North Shore, 15 years of age. She was up in lane 7, but she just gets 5 points, 6 points, I think, for maybe finishing. I think she finished 7th. But it all adds up. Now that'll extend the Harlequins' lead. Yonsu Lee.
Yeah, lovely smile
from her.
Yeah, from Westlake Girls.
No joker being played in this race. Caitlin Rennell stands down here in lane 1. She's from Marcos. Lane Harlequins, we're looking at Caitlin Mann there. So it goes Rennell, Rachel Smart, All-Stars, Charlotte Webby, Aquanites in 3, Caitlin Mann of Harlequins, then the Marcos Alicia Rusk, Josie Kosniak of All-Star in 6, Chelsea Alvahand of Aquanite is in 7, and Simone Cowling of Harlequin in 8.
Well, John, lane number 4, Caitlin Mann, has a very famous father. You know who he is? Now, you should have it with all your background in rugby and rugby league.
Oh, Dwayne.
Dwayne, exactly.
Of course, yes.
Yes, first represented the Warriors in their first ever team. What was it, back in 1995?
I think I went to that
Warriors. Game. Yeah, I went to it too. Yeah. It was tremendous. The atmosphere was outstanding. The drums, I still remember those drums for the first time in sport.
They had different jerseys then, didn't they? Different sponsors. But
most definitely.
What a thrill that was when the Warriors first started up. We're down here and still in Auckland at the Henderson Pool, the Westwave Aquatic Centre. Lanes 3, 7 and 8 look to be leading going into the halfway stage of the women's 200 metres butterfly. Caitlin Rennell, Josie Kosniak, Chelsea Alvahand.
So Charlotte Webby has led us through the first 100 metres, 106. So that's slower than the younger swimmers in the heat beforehand. Or I should say the final beforehand, the 15 and under final. This is the 16 and over final.
Well, of course, remember that Charlotte Webby has been an outstanding open water swimmer, winning gold in the 10K at the Oceania Champs last year.
And John,
also,
just been selected.
Fly.
Yeah, but also just been selected for the World Championships in the 10K open water swimming. Just got announced at the end of last week. This week, I apologize.
Yeah, just a couple of days ago. So this is the women's 200 meters butterfly for 16 and over. Charlotte Webby, the senior swimmer here.
Yeah, so, you know, she's an open water swimmer, but of course she does all of her training in the pool.
Up at the top there, it's Chelsea Auckland. You can see going to finish in second place. And just inside her to her left, that's Josie Kosniak of All-Star. Lane 8, Simone Cowling coming home well for Harlequins. And down here in lane 1, Caitlin Rennell of Marcos. There finishes Rachel Smart of All-Star. Familiar smile from Charlotte Webby, the winner of the women's 200 meters butterfly. Webby from, we just saw Webby from Aquatic, but just looking at the finish here, a tight finish for second and third was Auckland.
Yeah, look at them coming up, breathing in sync.
That's Webby coming to the finish. So look at Aquanites. They've got swimmers from Greerton, Aquablades, New Plymouth, St Peters and Fairfield from the Waikato, Otamaitai, Thames, Napier Aquahawks and Stratford, Central Hawke's Bay, Te Awamutu, Hiratonga Sun Devils, you know, swimmers from all over that region that has become the Aquanites zone. The joker is being played in this race as well.
Yes, the swimmer in lane number 3, Xavier Hill from the All-Stars team, only 14 years of age for the 200 meters butterfly. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, so an under 15 or under for him, Xavier Hill. So we'll see what they expect from him and what they get from him. Well, Kiwi West Aquatics.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on a young man in the 200 meters butterfly. He's only 14 years of age. Turning in about 5th position, I think, but boy, it's, you could put a blanket over all 8 of them at this stage.
Well, at 200, quite often, as we saw in the under 15 women's, a couple of swimmers battling it out over 100, and then ping, it goes, and we expect them to do better in the 100. That's a warm-up for them, and they survive the second 100 sometimes.
Well, it really is all about the third 50 meters. Still fondly remember Moss Burmester at the Olympic Games. I mean, he put it out to Michael Phelps in that 200 butterfly, and at the 150 he was right there. He was under world record pace, but the piano came down, unfortunately. Just have a look at the different techniques that we see in these 200 meters butterfly from these young men. The swimmer out in front doing a nice job just rolling those hips all the time. Got quite good technique. If we have a look at Xavier Hill with the green lime cap, he muscles his way through the water. So he doesn't have the same finesse. It doesn't have the same flow. He's getting himself into second, third position, but you can see that he doesn't have the same hip action, and he's just forcing the front end. So he's a very top end muscling stroke. Doesn't have that kick and the flow out of the kick.
Jordan Wilson leads them at the moment and will lead at the finish as well. All-Stars played their joker with Xavier Hill.
Well, Jordan Wilson is a beautiful butterfly. He's got really good flexibility, and you can see that the way he strokes. He's gone out pretty hard. He's just dying a little bit, but he's well trained. Sam Karatis is his coach, who we're going to see in the All-Stars or the Legends relay later on.
Xavier Hill, though, is going to get double second points at least. So he's given it his all. You could look at him when he touched the wall. He'd hammered himself in that. But the man who picks up the victory is Jordan Wilson from Harlequins.
It's a nice swim from Jordan and a nice victory as well. Nice time, 2:14. And just see him sucking in the air, coming into the wall. But he takes some points away from the joker swim.
Xavier Hill was the man coming into second place here in the green cap from Kiwi West Aquatics. He's a New Zealand short course age group record holder for 13 years, 100 fly and 50 fly, moving up a notch. 200 fly for the men, 16 and over. Some pretty impressive young swimmers here And starting down the bottom, Stuart Graham, Max Polyansky, William Campbell, Liam Albury, Bradley Ashby, Willie Kitser, Jeremy Tasker and Devlin Forsyth. So that's going lanes 1 up your screen there to lane 8.
Well, we talked about famous fathers, and we've got in lane number 2, Max Polyansky. His father was very famous in swimming, won the gold medal in the 200 metres butterfly at the 1988 Olympics in the 200 metres backstroke. Currently coaching at the United Swimming Club in Auckland. Has the inevitable position of coaching his own son, which isn't
right.
easy.
And it's such a standout name, isn't it, that everyone knows, anyone involved with swimming or in sport in general knows a Polyansky name, and so you've got to live up to it. And Max is in lane number 2 on the right of that shot that we saw. He's currently in about 6th place, 200 metres. And first is Liam Albury, Bradley Ashby up in lane 5. Lane 3, though, it's Willie Campbell of Marco's. He's looking threatening.
Liam Albury looking quite good in this 200 metres butterfly. Just keeping his form, that's the important thing. I like the way William Campbell is swimming right beside him in lane number 3 as well, keeping him honest, coming up pretty high when he breathes, and I think that's why we see Liam Albury now just extending that lead.
May have been some action from Kitser as well. He's in 3rd place, coming off the wall. Kitser in lane 6, just surfacing now, and coming up alongside Ashby, has taken over from Ashby. At the front, though, Albury in lane 4.
Well, it was a very, very good turn by Coetzee and a very good third 50 metres, but it is still Ashby. Albury representing the All-Stars team in lane number 4.
Albury is going to touch first. He does. That was Kitser in 2nd place from Harlequins. So the All-Stars through Liam Albury. Capital Swim Club. Went to the Junior Pan Pacs last year. Also swum in the New Zealand Open Water Championships this year. They're enjoying this. And you can tell there's a fair bit of noise, and a fair bit of that noise is coming from the swimmers' support themselves, from those zones as they toss away any club allegiances, really, and go into the zones. And we've got North Shore swimmers cheering for St Peter's swimmers. No, they're not. They're cheering for county swimmers or Northland swimmers. That's what makes it exciting, the Zonal Championships.
Yeah, interesting looking around the pool too, John. There's starting to get swimmers from the Legends Relay starting to appear.
Oh, good.
As we've said, 15 Olympians out of that 24 swimmers.
Now there we are, really getting into it. So Bobby Gishard is wearing the pink cap in lane 3. So playing the joker here, this is the Aqua Knights. Bobby Gishard is the favoured swimmer here in the 200 metres backstroke. She's a stunning young swimmer. And those of you who've watched the Nationals over the last couple of years will be well aware of her name and her ability, and look, already a body length clear of the rest. So Bobby Gishard of Aqua Knights wearing the pink, playing the joker. Double points up for her off the wall for the first time.
Oh, look, this is a young girl that's really on the rise. She is outstanding. Noel Hargrave-Booth doing a tremendous job with the coaching of Bobby Gishard, the 15-year-old from the Greendale Club.
She was 2nd in the 100 backstroke, 1st in the 50 and the 200 back at the New Zealand Open, and she was selected for the wonderful event, the Youth Olympics in China, and she was a bronze medalist in the 100 backstroke there. So this is she. This is Bobby Gishard.
And it's probably the future of New Zealand backstroke right here and now, as we see her turn with a 106.5 over the first 100 metres.
Turning in 2nd place, sorry, was Kyra Forrest of Marco's, and in 3rd place, Hayley McIntosh of Harlequins. But it really is a fight for the lesser points, as Gishard is looking at snaring 52 points, double points for the win.
And as we watch the Bobby Gishard here, we watch first and foremost in backstroke to see that her head is perfectly still, and you can see that that is the case. You could rest a cup on her head, apart from when she goes into that underwater, which you're allowed 15 metres underwater. She didn't use the 15 metres, but she certainly did have very good turn. But when you get in the zoom-in picture here now, we look at her breathing, whether or not she's hyperventilating or not. She's not. She's doing a really good job breathing in, blowing out, breathing in, blowing out. So it's a regular pattern, and that's so important when you watch a backstroker. It's a very good exhibition of backstroke.
Up at the top, Hayley McIntosh. You could also see the arms there of Kyra Forrest down in lane 1, but this is an all-the-way, very impressive win for Gishard. Down here, lane 1, it may well have been Kyra Forrest from Marco's and Hayley McIntosh from Harlequins. So where did Aquanight's Bobby Gishard, and Aquanight's also finishing in 8th place, so not really getting as many points as they'd like, but certainly the double points for Gishard will help the Aquanight's chances. The last points we had, Harlequins 481, All Stars have moved up to second with 460, the Aquanights 441, and Marco's had closed up too, 424. So that's only sort of 60 points between first and fourth. So a lot of racing still to go, and things could change. Already it's changed. First is the same, but second and third have changed over.
Well, it's not clear cut. That's the important thing.
Yeah. So backstroke again. This is the women's 16 and over, and we're seeing swimmers that we've already seen previously. Sophie Witherspoon of Harlequins is in 5, and Kate Godfrey in 6. And they're up there towards the top. Down here, as we see, Annabelle Patterson of Harlequins. Ebony Maikuku is in lane 2. Sarah O'Connor is swimming in 3. Brittany Taylor, then Witherspoon, Godfrey, Jenna Buchanan in 7. And as they turn for the first 50, Emma Godwin of Aquanights is up in lane 8, way up at the top there. Lane 5, though, we're looking at Witherspoon.
Sophie Witherspoon from the Harlequins team, 20-year-old, in lane number 5. Just remembering, John, there's 10 females that you have in each team in the 16 and over. Factor every category that you have 10 females. Each of them will do 3 swims, apart from 2 swimmers, which will only have 2 swims. So each will do 3 swims. And we've had a number of distance events so far. So the distance swimmers are going to be working the front end of this meet, and the prima donnas, the sprinters, they're going to have to do a lot of work when they've got 3 sprint events later on. And of course, they also will feature in the relays. So you've got a dilemma. Do you make your sprinters do a lot of individual events, 3, or do you drop them down to 2, knowing that they will be the relay swimmers?
Witherspoon here. On the top of her is Kate Godfrey, coming to the 150. Annabelle Patterson had turned in 3rd place at the 100. She's down here in lane 1.
Well, this is going to come down to the turn now. Godfrey in lane number 6 versus Witherspoon. Witherspoon popped up. Godfrey just a little bit better off the wall, and it looks as if she's taken over the lead. Godfrey from the Marcos. The Marcos that are the big movers in the points as well.
Yep, from Neptune, a 21-year-old.
And she's the big mover in this event as well. But have a look at the swimmer in lane number 1, just out of view. That is Annabelle Patterson from the Harlequins, just storming home. She may even get up there for 2nd.
From United, 16 years of age. 3rd in the 200 backstroke at the short course championships. And did she get
equal.
it?
Second equal.
Wow, great finish from her. That's impressive. So the Marcos pick up the maximum points there. Kate Godfrey still managing to smile, but breathing heavily. Here was the finish that we could see from these two. We thought it was going to be 1-2 out of these, but way down in lane number 1, streaming home from the Harlequins, was Hayley McIntosh. Here she goes now. Watch the touch here. At 2nd equal.
Yeah, the outside smoker. So easy to hide in lane number 1 or lane 8, and she certainly did that.
Men now, 15 and under, 200 backstroke. I've seen Lewis Clareburt previously. He's up again. He's swimming in lane 4. In lane 1, that's Andrew Jeffcoat. Callum Prime from Harlequins is in 2. Satori Dobby, Lewis Clareburt, Blake Horn, Jason Churches, Flynn Sinclair, and Sean O'Hara. That's 1 through to 8.
Well, Satori Dobby had a tremendous start. He certainly exploited the whole 15 metres that he was able to go underwater, and had a nice elevation off the starting blocks, and then a very good underwater work.
This is a wonderful way to end Waitangi weekend. I had lots of sport on around the country, and now we're at the Westwave Aquatic Centre, the Zonal Championships. Marco's claiming valuable points. Marco's representing all the South Island areas, Canterbury, West Coast, Nelson, Marlborough, Otago, Southland.
So it's Jason Churches in lane number 6 doing a good job just taking us through the first 100 metres of this backstroke. Notice he bounces a little bit. Now that's sometimes as you go through puberty and you're trying to find your strength to body weight ratio, you do start to do that in the backstroke. Not a great turn by Church whatsoever.
But a good turn by Callum Prime in lane 2.
Yes, and he's taken over the lead. It was a tremendous turn by Prime. But here comes Church again. He's tough.
So see what you can. That was a good example of what you were talking about, the sort of bouncing of Dobby.
Have a look at this turn again. Yeah. You can see the difference here. Big difference. Prime did a great job once again in the underwater. Now, when you're starting to bounce the way Jason Churches is, you will lose energy. And we can see that now in the increase in the stroke rate of Callum Prime as he starts to dominate this 200 metres backstroke. But Church isn't gone yet.
So Callum Prime, Churches up there in lane number 6. He led through the 100 and he's dropped back just slightly, but it was a very good second 100 from Callum Prime. The 200 backstroke goes to the swimmer from the Harlequin zone. Second was Churches, also from Harlequin, so a 1-2, that will help them. Callum Prime. See, we're seeing some outstanding young swimmers coming through from North Wave.
Yeah, so 47 points for that one race because they came first and second for the Harlequins. They'll be delighted.
Staying with the 200 backstroke, this is the 16 and over. We've got 2 Olympians in this event, Daniel Bell and Stephen Kent.
Well, Daniel Bell won't like this, doing a 200 backstroke when he knows this is his last ever swim meet. And I just wonder, you know, when you know it's your last ever swim meet, will you be doing the training? He is a beautiful exponent of starting.
And you can see that he's in lane number 6, and alongside him is Stephen Kent. And if we look back on Bell's career, remember when he burst into prominence at the World Junior Championships, didn't he? Won a gold medal and a hatful of, well, a few medals, didn't he?
He did indeed.
And was just outstanding. And now we're seeing him, he's, I would suggest that he probably never showed us his best, certainly not consistently, but what a talent he's been, and he's had a very good career. So well, sorry.
John, he has, and I think we've got to give him accolades. He's a double Olympian, 2008 and 2012, and he was very versatile in both backstroke and butterfly. Beautiful swimmer, beautiful stroker, originally out of Havelock North, coached by John Beaumont there, out of his swim school, who's produced many talented swimmers over the years. But Daniel Bell, just watch him. He won't like doing a 200 backstroke.
No. Well, he's bearded up. There's no shave down for Daniel Bell. We saw a close-up of him there. He, in fact, just been reminded that he won 3 golds, 3 titles at the